How do you know your marriage is healthy? If you want a happy and healthy marriage, this video is for you. In this video, I'm gonna share 5 signs of a healthy marriage. I'm Dr. Elias Moitinho. I'm a professor of counseling, and my wife and I wrote this book. Check it out. Let's get to the 5 signs of a healthy marriage. Number 1, the marriage vision is clear and exciting. A vision is a description of a desired future. So, a marriage vision is a description of what kind of marriage you want to have. And it is your ideal for your marriage in 5 years, 10 years down the road. In the book, The Dream Home, my wife and I talk about how to create a shared vision for your marriage. We talk about how couples can come together and discuss their individual goals, desires, aspirations, and combine them into a beautiful, exciting shared vision. A vision ignites excitement in the present and gives hope for the future. The Bible says, "Can two people walk together without agreeing on the direction?" So the secret is unity and agreement. Watch our video here on how to create a shared vision for marriage. The link is here. Number 2, communication is open and constructive. Communication is key for a successful marriage, right? You probably have heard that a million times. Yes, communication will be the key to help you and your spouse build intimacy. And you and your spouse will need to share your thoughts and your feelings at a deeper level. I'll mention a few elements here that make communication positive in the marriage relationship. One is self-disclosure. It's when you open up your heart and your mind to your spouse and you share your feelings, your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions with your spouse. Then your spouse will also share with you. And then you have to listen with your heart. That's active listening. That you listen, you pay attention to your spouse, and you identify the thoughts, the feelings, and you show empathy to your spouse. Watch our video here on the channel, how to show empathy. You're gonna love it because you're gonna get lots of tips on how you can listen to your spouse with empathy, which will create an emotional connection with your spouse. Number 3, conflict is managed respectfully. Conflict is a reality in marriage, right? Conflict happens every month, sometimes every week, and sometimes every day. So the secret is how to handle the conflict, how to deal with it with a positive and respectful attitude. I'm going to mention 3 brief steps here on how to deal with conflict. In our book, my wife and I talk about the steps in detail. Step number 1 is self-control. Yes, when people are in conflict, they usually get angry, frustrated, and conflict can escalate. And that can be very detrimental to the relationship because people may say things that will hurt the spouse. So you need to have self-control. And we give some tips of how to control yourself, such as using timeout and also self-soothing techniques to control your emotions. And step number 2 is communication, is using communication skills wisely to listen to your spouse with respect, as I mentioned here in the video, and also communicate to your spouse your thoughts and feelings without attacking your spouse, using I statements. And number 3 is to use a collaborative problem-solving approach. You and your spouse work together as a team to deal with the problem, to attack the problem, not to attack each other. And then you brainstorm possible solutions and you come to an agreement together on what solution you are going to implement to solve your problem, your marital conflict. Number 4, passion and intimacy are alive and well in the marriage. Intimacy means to know and to be known. It's an intimate connection between a husband and a wife. Intimacy is multidimensional. Yes, it's an emotional, intellectual, physical, and spiritual connection. Emotional intimacy is a connection of the hearts, and it happens when you share your feelings with your spouse without the fear of rejection. Intellectual intimacy, it's a connection of the minds, and it happens when you share your thoughts, ideas, goals, aspirations with your spouse. And then physical intimacy, it's a connection of the bodies. Yes, it's when you share that physical, intimate moment with your spouse. And then spiritual intimacy, it's a connection of the souls. It's when you and your spouse connect together, seeking God together, praying, worshiping God together. It's important to know that emotional intimacy precedes the physical intimacy. So make an effort to connect with your spouse emotionally. Watch the video that we have here on the channel, how to connect emotionally with your spouse. You're gonna love it. And now, number 5, the home is built on the rock. Wow, you may be wondering, what does that mean? Well, let me explain. At the end of the famous Sermon on the Mount, Jesus talked about 2 types of builders. He talked about the wise man and the foolish man. The wise man built his house on the rock, and the foolish person built his house on the sand. And according to Jesus, a wise person is someone who hears his teaching and puts it into practice. And then that person builds a house on the rock. And when the winds come, when the rains fall, when the storms come, guess what happens? That house built on the rock will stand. And then Jesus says that the foolish person is someone who does not apply his teachings. It's someone who does not practice what Jesus taught. And he says that person is like the man who built the house on the sand, because when the winds blow, when the rain falls, when the floods come, the house comes crashing down and is destroyed. That is sad. Well, you want to have a marriage that is healthy and strong. So that means you build your house, your home, your marriage on the rock. That means you and your spouse listen to the teachings of Jesus in the Bible, and you put them into practice in everyday life. That will strengthen your marriage. Because did you notice that both houses faced the same storms, the same floods, the same winds? But the house on the rock stood. So that means you're going to face problems, you're going to face challenges in your marriage, but a healthy marriage is built on the rock. Watch the videos you see here on the screen to continue to strengthen your marriage. And if you liked the video, click the like button, share it with your friends, be sure to subscribe.